Hello, YouTube friends. Gail's here. Oh my gosh, it's been so long. I'm still here. I've been busy with real life stuff, but also the convention, of course, and working on my own projects. So that's why videos are like a low priority for me. But hopefully, I got some free time now, so hopefully, I'll be able to play some visual novels before things get crazy again. But, yeah. So right now I'm just going through things that I've downloaded like forever ago, but I never got a chance to play or, record videos for. This one apparently was from Otami Jam 2022, so that should give you an idea of how long it's been on my backlog. Yeah, there's just so many awesome games on itchio and not enough time for me to play them all, unfortunately. But I am going to play the ones that I've at least already downloaded, but haven't played yet because, they're taking up space on my computer. So might as well. This one is called 3 Seasons. Looks very cute. I really like this aesthetic. Very cute aesthetic. Very nice colors. It's an otame, but other than that, I don't really know much about it. It's been so long since I've downloaded it, so yeah. Let's just begin. Ooh. Very interesting. I like the... Oh. My mouse is not... Oh, there it is. For some reason I thought that was the cursor, but no, it's just a fake cursor. Interesting. Very neat. I like it. Alright. I guess it's simulating, like, emails and stuff. Job hunting has got to be one of the most soul-draining activities out there. Every time you have to edit your resume for a new application, it feels like a piece of your soul breaks off in the process. And all that just to be ghosted by employers without much as an email back. I know it's a competitive job market out here, but geez. 50 jobs I've applied to this month, and this one interview offer is all I have to show for it. I carefully read over the invitation email, searching my notebook for the page of notes I collected about the company when I applied. So this says, "Good evening. We have reviewed your application and are excited to formally invite you to an interview for a position with our company. Please sign the attached NDA form prior to attending the interview." I guess non-disclosure agreement form. I guess that's what they're talking about. "Looking forward to meeting you. Seasons Incorporated." Interesting. Cool. It's some environmental assessment firm called Seasons Inc. Seems like they mostly do government contracts. Their social media presence is so minimal, I can hardly find any employee reviews about the place, but they do have an office in one of the swanky downtown high-rises, so they have to be legit, right? Maybe I should be warier, but it's so rare to get an interview offer these days. It's just an interview. I can judge them when I get there. Aren't they the ones going to be judging you? I guess it goes both ways. The hiring contract, Briar, wants me to sign a non-disclosure agreement before attending the interview, and that makes me uneasy. But if they work for the government, maybe they need background checks and have some kind of fancy interview process. I guess it could make sense. I sign my name. Type your first name. We're going to do Gail's. Then I attach the form to send my... Blah, 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 blah. Then I attach the form to my reply and click send. Here goes nothing. I feel very nasally today. 5 days later. Today's the big day. I gaze at myself in the polished elevator doors as I ascend floor after floor, hoping I don't look as nervous as I feel. In one hand, the winter coat I removed once I entered the building, and the other, the folder containing my resumes gripped securely as if my life depends on it. I can read. Ah, very interesting. So that's the main character design. Very nice, very nice. I like it. I like the textures of, like, the elevator. That's awesome. Wish I could do textures like that. Very detailed. I like it. And it matches the sprite nicely, so I'm assuming, you know, it's all original backgrounds. I mean, obviously it's a CG, so yeah. I don't know. Don't listen to me. Anyway, in one hand, though, I already read that. The door's open. The elevator opens with a ding as I step out into what appears to be an office foyer with high ceilings, a reception desk directly ahead, and some visitor seating off to the side. It's empty. There's an eerie silence in the open space aside from the steady ticking of a grandfather clock. I don't hear any sounds coming from the rest of the office. The interviewer, Briar, said they would meet me at noon. There's still some time. Too antsy to sit down and wait, my attention is drawn to the ticking grandfather clock, and I quietly cross the floor to examine it. In this clean, modern office, this old clock looks strangely out of place. An antique? The CEO's personal family heirloom? I admire the ornate clock face, each quadrant adorned with one of the 4 seasons. A rotating disc extrudes from the center with tiny carved figures spaced evenly apart, 4 little princes, one for each season. I'm so engrossed at marveling at each one in turn, summer, fall, winter, that I don't notice the minute hand clock tick gradually towards the hour hand at 12. This is nice. I kind of wish, because the, you know, writing is so detailed. I mean, I can still get a good picture of it in my head, but I kind of wish that they'd show, like, the clock face instead with the 4 seasons. Maybe if they were doing it for a jam, they just ran out of time or something, but that would have been nice to see. But it seems like it holds some, at least metaphorical importance, you know. I'm assuming, because it's so detailed. Usually when something's so detailed like that, you know it's important. Either that or the writer just happened to fixate on that detail for some unknown reason. But usually it's important. Okay. Spring comes to the forefront, and the clock chimes the hour, a sound so unbelievably loud. I step back instinctively, closing my eyes shut as I wince at the deafening chime. See, okay. Hold on, let's back up. Can I back up? Okay. Why is it showing her name here? I'm guessing this is probably just an error, because this is narration, right? She's not saying this aloud. Just wanted to point that out, though. It's something you want to look out for. The difference between narration and dialogue. Because otherwise it's going to get confusing. Is the narrator talking to themselves, or are they just telling the story? Talk about loud. Why would you ever keep such a ridiculously disruptive clock? Especially someplace people have to work. I open my eyes, and the clock is no longer there. In fact, the wall I had been facing is now a desk in front of floor-to-ceiling windows, and the scenery outside is most certainly not dreary winter city. I look around in a panic, but nothing is familiar about this place at all. It's an office, that's for sure, but it's not the Seasons Inc. office. I know for sure I didn't walk away, so where the hell am I? I turn to see a closed door, and as I walk towards it, voices grow louder from the other side. Oh, lovely. Now I'm going to look like some kind of intruder, and I... See, once again, she's talking to herself. See that? So that bugs me. Sorry. I have to point it out whenever I see it, because it happens so often and it bugs me so much. Who talks to themselves like this? Do people talk to themselves like this? I certainly don't. I catch myself in a nearby mirror and freeze, dumbfounded at what I see. Like, I get that they're trying to tell a story, right? But they're narrating the story, so why not just put that into narration? Why do you have to put it as dialogue? And once again, maybe it was just a mistake. I don't think it was that time. I think that one was intentional. But it just strikes me as a little pointless. Where are my clothes? What are these? And for the first time, I noticed my missing bag, coat, and folder. See, now it's going back and forth between her talking to herself and her narrating the story. And I don't understand why it's not just all narrating the story. Door opens and I step back to avoid being hit by it, coming face to face with 2 handsome men who enter, freezing as they lock eyes with me. Ooh, pretty. I really like these designs. Winter, Obviously, the guy on the left is winter. Not entirely sure. I'm guessing maybe summer. It looks like something I would... kind of looks like he's wearing pants, though. Is he wearing pants or shorts? It's kind of hard to tell. It could be summer. It could also be spring, maybe. Or I don't think it's fall. Fall, what you would expect to see more warm colors. And that looks a little more cool tone to me. I look between them. One is dressed in whites and blues, his long white hair flowing past his shoulders and fur hood. The other has a completely different vibe. Sheer, sleeveless top, beach-stained white jeans, and a stalk of platinum blonde hair tinged with blue. I can't tell if one is overdressed for the temperature or if the other is underdressed. They look familiar somehow, but I can't quite place it. I'm assuming they're probably the guys on the clock. They look familiar somehow, but I can't quite place it. All I know is that the silence seems to stretch on uncomfortably long. The one in the white looks past me to an empty office chair, an expression of confusion, annoyance, appearance on his handsome face. And who might you be? Where's Briar? Wait, did he just say Briar? So did I really have some kind of sleep episode and sleepwalk into somebody's office at Seasons Inc.? That doesn't explain my clothes, though. I was supposed to have a job interview with him. Sorry, this is also confusing. I didn't come here in these clothes. Job interview? If this is some kind of prank, you'd better explain yourself quickly. Briar has been missing for days now. He needs to return at once. And since you're dressed in spring staff uniform, you must have some way of contacting him, correct? I have his email, but like I said, these aren't my clothes. I'm not staff. I mean, not yet. Weren't we looking for a job? Maybe we just automatically get accepted. They're that desperate for people. An email. Are you human by chance? Blondie steps closer to me so I can smell the faint scent of sea salt and sun lotion on him. Okay, I'm pretty sure he's summer now. He's got to be summer if we're mentioning sun and suntan lotion. What kind of question is that? Of course I'm human. Are you making fun of me? The look that passes between them confuses me even more. It's one thing for him to go running around irresponsibly, but what the hell is he planning, bringing a random human here? It's clear that the one in the coat is much more frustrated by the situation than the other one, who puts on an appeasing smile and tries to calm him down. Yuto, relax. There's no need to yell at, this person. This person's name is Gales, and, select your pronouns. Oh. Cool. Yay, I always like it when you get to select your pronouns. I am she, her. This person's name is Gales, and she's standing right here. Oh, forgive me. I've been rude too. The blondie grins sheepishly at me, scratching the back of his neck. He's cute, I'll give him that. I'm Sol, and this, grump is Yuto. We're spirits who manage the seasons for Earth. I liked that before they had the colors to signify who's talking. Obviously, the reddish-orange color was for this guy, and the blue was for this guy. Right here, I'm not entirely sure who's talking. I'm assuming Sol means sun. I know that much. It's in Spanish, I think. So I'm assuming it's the summer guy, but not entirely sure. Yeah. It's kind of difficult when you have two characters introducing themselves at the same time to be clear who is who, you know? And Yuto isn't always this grumpy. It's just that Briar, well, he's in charge of spring, and Yuto's in charge of winter. Okay, yeah. So, yeah. Now I know for sure Yuto's in charge of winter, because that guy definitely screams winter. He's got, you know, little snowflakes on his jacket. And he's white. Like a grayish white. You know, winter colors is winter colors. Winter is ending, and Briar isn't back yet to get in time of the work off of Yuto's Shotos before the spring equinox. I mean, there's plenty of time, but Yuto doesn't. These things can't be left till the last minute. The one called Yuto cuts Shoal's rambling short. They tend to over-narrate a little bit. You don't need this. Why? Because you've shown it. You show that Yuto is interrupting Sol. You don't need to tell us. We already know, because you've shown it. So this is a little bit of an over-narration. It's been doing that a little bit so far, like describing the characters, what they look like. I mean, we can see what they look like. I guess it's nice to have in case somebody's playing this and they're blind, like they can't see, or maybe they're visually impaired. They can't see very well. I guess it's nice to have descriptions then, but I don't know. To me, as somebody who can see, at least, it just seems a little bit redundant. And judging by the look of confusion on your face, that idiot probably transported you here without explaining a thing, right? He judges me coolly, and I can't help but feel like I'm being judged along with the Briar guy. Transported me where? The elemental realm. This isn't Earth. The serious expression doesn't leave his face. See things like this. See, the serious expression doesn't leave his face. We can see his face. It hasn't changed. He still looks the same thing as he... I mean, you know, it hasn't changed much anyway. So this isn't a prank. So, yeah, you don't need to tell us somebody's being serious when we can see that they're being serious, you know? I mean, he has his arms crossed. That's usually a sign that they're guarding themselves and, you know, not entirely happy with the situation. They're at least being guarded, you know, around us. That's a very serious stance, serious expression. At the moment, another figure pops his head into the doorway, startling me. Who's this guy? I'm guessing Autumn. He has very autumny colors and mushrooms. That's usually an autumn thing. I like it, though. I really like the character designs, and I like that you can tell, like, pretty much what season they're supposed to represent. It's cool. What's all the fuss? Did you find Briar? Sorry, there's only so many guy voices I can do. I'm not a voice actor. The handsome stranger. Is everyone a model here? Looks between Yuto and Soul. His gaze falls on me and his eyebrows rise in a surprise. New staff? How unusual. No, Briar's still missing and he transported her here from Earth. Do you know anything about this, Rai? Yuto turns to the man who steps inside and approaches me with a bright, welcoming smile. I don't know a thing. He didn't leave a note? A silence falls upon the room before we all turn at once to look in the direction of the desk in front of the windows. Sure enough, there looks to be an envelope there. I didn't see it when I first arrived here, but it's possible I just didn't notice it in my panic. The one called Rai approaches the desk, picking up the envelope and opening it in a few graceful motions. He moves in an unbothered, comfortable way, taking his time to read the note. Yuto clears his throat impatiently. Well? Rai's lips twist into a amused smirk before he begins to read aloud. Salutations, my dear colleagues. I won't be back just yet, but I know Yuto will throw a fit about that, so I've hired Gales here to do the boring, tedious stuff before the Dinquinauts. What the heck? So he just hired us without us agreeing to it? She's here for a week. Take care of her, Toodles. That guy's kind of a jerk. I'm going to kill him. Rai smiles apologetically at me, ignoring his grumbling colleague. We've basically been kidnapped, guys. You must be Gales. I'm sorry that Briar swept you up into this. He has a habit of doing whatever he wants. A bit of a trickster, you might say. We can send you back right away. I look to Soul and Yuto. It would have been nice to have a new face around, even if it's just for a little while, but Rai is right. Soul gives me a disappointed smile, and Yuto simply nods. I mean, if I choose this, will it, like, end the story? I'm kind of curious. Alright, game over. We're sent back. Alright, I don't mind staying to help. I don't mind staying to, if it's just for a week. You guys need the help, right? Yuto's expression softens. I don't think he expected me to say that. That's very kind of you. But this Briar's mess, and we can't inconvenience you like that. I kind of feel bad for... Oh, I kind of feel bad for them. I wish they'd let me stay to help, but I don't want to push them. I'll send you back right away. Please accept our apologies for this mishap. Rai lifts a hand and it begins to shine brightly with a strange orange glow. Ooh, I like that effect. That's really nifty. Pretty. Swirls of yellow, orange, and white sparkling lights dance in my vision, and a strange feeling comes over me. All at once it stops. I am still here, and the three men in front of me look confused. Rai wrinkles his brow in confusion, concentrating harder as he begins his process again. Again, the glimmering display of lights and sparkles envelops me. And again, nothing. I'm not sure what's happening. Soul, you try. Soul nods, using both his hands to summon an even stronger whirlwind of light and sparkles, this time in yellow, blue, and blue tones. This isn't the time to be curious about the magic powers they're exhibiting, but I can't help but wonder what else they're capable of. What does it even mean to be in charge of a season? I should have asked before they sent me back. I guess I'll never find out now. Spoken too soon. Soul's attempt fails in the same way as Rise, and they both look expectantly at Yuto. Instead of trying for a third time, he takes the note out of Rise's hand with a renewed frustration, his eyes scanning the paper with suspicion, until he finally finds what he's looking for, on the back. Don't assume you can just send her back early. I made her agree to stay here for a week, 5 business days, when she signed her contract. She can't leave. I agreed to what? I frantically pull out my phone and open the copy of the agreement I've saved for my emails. Sure, maybe I shouldn't have just skimmed the NDA, but I thought it was your ordinary don't tell anyone about the interview or we'll sue you type of thing. Not that I was signing away my soul for a week. After a few minutes of painful silence, when I scan every line of the 2-page contract, I finally find what I'm looking for in the tiny fine print at the end. Applicant agrees to a 1-week paid employment stint, beginning on the agreed upon interview date and ending in 5 business days. Applicant may not terminate this employment period for any reason. My jaw practically drops to the floor. This is too far, even for him. It's one thing to bother us, but dragging an innocent civilian into this. Sorry about this, Gales. It looks like you're stuck with us. We'll try to make your time here comfortable in the meanwhile. Briar gives me a deeply apologetic smile. Soul seems to be the only one who isn't bothered by these events. You'll have fun here with us. Don't worry about it. I don't want to be a bother to you. If it's too much trouble, I'd love to at least lend a hand while I'm here. You may be doing some of the menial organization and inventory management tasks for Briar. Since you don't have any magical ability, it's still up to him to do the bulk work when he gets back. You're welcome to shadow one of us during this week. We'll direct you on what needs to get done. I am resting from my duties during this time, but I'm more than happy to keep you company. It's currently winter in the northern hemisphere and summer in the southern hemisphere, so I'd say Yuto and Soul are busiest. If you pick me, I'll make sure you have fun all week. Unless you feel like joining Mr. Grumpy over there. Maybe it'll warm his cold, cold heart. Yuto's cheeks redden at this, and he opens his mouth to chastise Soul, but struggles for words. He clears his throat and regains his composure, instead turning to me. This is still Briar's fault, so I don't want to burden you with expectations. Whatever you can help with would be appreciated. But I've been told my companionship isn't the most exciting. Who will I choose? Oh, we get a pick, huh? Cool. Personality-wise, I think I want to go for him. He seems more like the type of guy I'd usually go for personality-wise. These guys, they seem a little similar to me, honestly, from what I've seen. I think he's a little more, like, laid back, I'm guessing. Yeah, let's see what this says. He seems fun to be around. If I'm stuck here, I might as well enjoy it. He seems easy to get along with. If I'm stuck here, I might as well relax. Yeah. He kind of gives me, like, big brother vibes, I guess. And he kind of gives me, like, I guess, fun younger brother vibes, I guess. And then this guy kind of gives me, like, mature, more business-oriented. He seems like he really needs the help. If I'm stuck here, I might as well assist him. Usually I like to go off of personality. And I think so far the most personality we've seen is from this guy. So that's what makes me a little more curious. He seems like he really needs the help. If I'm stuck here, I might as well assist him. I mean, a lot of the times with otames, I usually go for either the character whose personality I like the most, or the one who gets along with the protagonist the most, who I feel a stronger connection between them. But the thing about this one is we're choosing early on, and I haven't really gotten a good feel for who they have a connection with. Because they've all just met, and they've all just met together. They haven't really had a whole lot of one-on-one time yet. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with this, by the way. I'm just stating my thought process. Anyway. I don't mind helping Yuto. I might not be very useful without magic, but there's anything I can do to help you out. I'm willing to do it. You're sure about this? He doesn't hide the surprise in his expression. If anything, he looks concerned and uncertain. I'm already embarrassed that you've been dragged into all this. I smile at him reassuringly. I'm a professional. I have my pride to keep up. Besides, I like helping people out. I'm a little confused as to what we're supposed to be doing. They're saying help them out, but help them with what? Like the seasons? I have a feeling if we're just a human, we're not exactly experienced in that. So I don't really understand why they would hire a human for this. I'm a little confused in that regard. They've been keeping the help part really vague. I forget. Did it mention, like, what they were even getting hired for? They were getting hired for this company, but to do what? Usually when you go into a job interview, you have an idea of what the job you're expected to do is going to be like, you know? I don't know. Anyway, it's just a little confusing in that regard. But I think, I'm assuming they're keeping it vague on purpose because they don't want the player to know. But the character should know, right? I don't know. Anyway, let's keep going. Yuto seems a loss for words. Sol abruptly slaps him on the arm, earning a heated glare. Just accept the help already. Jeez, you've got a cute assistance for a week. I'm jealous. Cute? Ugh. Okay, I'm glad I didn't choose him, because that's giving me creeper vibes. We just met, dude. Come on. Be respectful. He'll be in good hands, Gales. If you feel like he's too much, you can always come to one of us. Yeah, get out of here. Sure, we'll leave you two alone. Sol winks at him, giving me a little wave as he ducks out of Yuto's hitting reach and out of the room. Don't mind Sol. He's too excited to have a new face around. We don't want to make you uncomfortable. Oh no, by all means, it's not uncomfortable at all to have 3 gorgeous men as core workers for the week. I'm looking forward to it. Oh gosh, now the player's being creep. The player's just as creeper as they are. Oh well, I guess. Still smiling, Rai raises an eyebrow at me and I immediately panic, wondering if their magic extends to mind reading too. Gosh. Good luck. He disappears before I can ask him about the mind reading thing. What could I possibly need luck for? Yuto calls after him, but there's no response, and the door shuts abruptly, leaving us alone. You can ask him if they have powers like mind reading. Save. Well, I look forward to working with you. Likewise. He shifts awkwardly. You seem like a considerate person, so at least Briar did me a favor in selecting you. I think that's a compliment. I mean, I'm going to take it as one. But how did Briar know? Is he even, like, spying on us? I'm, like, so curious about this guy, because this whole situation is a little shady. Thanks. Sounds like he makes your life unnecessarily difficult. He has a habit of doing this every year. I don't know if you had the chance to meet him. I haven't. I was supposed to meet him for the interview. I was applying for a job, you see. It didn't mention anything about this, but it was supposed to be an assistant position. Oh, okay. An assistant to what, though? I explained how I came to arrive here from the job posting to the empty office lobby and the weird clock. We do have various means of traveling from the elemental realm to Earth, but I don't know about the Seasons Inc. company you're talking about. I suspect Briar set up as a front for his Earth shenanigans. He's always off doing who knows what. I am really curious to what kind of person this mysterious Briar is. His office seems prim and proper, at least. That's enough about him, for now anyway. It's too late today to get you started on anything or give you an orientation. I unfortunately have things to oversee. You're welcome to make yourself at home here. Wait, like, in this office? And of course, he didn't think to arrange accommodation for you. He clicks his tongue, thinking as his eyes scan the room. We don't really have a need for sleep since we're not human. The same is true for food, though it's something we can consume optionally. I'll have Soul bring you something to eat later. I hadn't even thought about meals. You'll have to sleep on the chase lounge chair over there. I hope it won't be too uncomfortable. There's a powder room in the hall for washing up. If you need anything, come to my office. You'll know it's the door when you see it. He pauses to consider anything else you missed. Can you at least tell me what I'm going to be doing? Why would I agree to something if I don't even know what it is? I hope this week will be comfortable for you at least. I can't promise it'll be much fun though since you're stuck with me. He makes a self-deprecating joke, but just makes me feel a little pity for him. Don't say that. I'm sure we'll get along well. You've already been very kind to me. What more could I ask for? Yeah, I don't want to be too flirty because we just met. It always makes me awkward when they kind of try to rush the romance like that. I mean, do other people flirt with people they just met? I mean, it takes me a while to get to know them, you know? To know if I'm actually interested in them. Because I don't want to date a jerk, you know? I don't know. I get the feeling some people tend to be... I don't want to... And I don't mean this in a cruel way. They just tend to go more based off of looks than I do. For me, it just takes me a while to get comfortable around people before I get all flirty. I'm a very flirty person, don't get me wrong, but it takes me a while before I'm comfortable to do that. So when people try to like rush romance and stuff, it's just like, ooh, why? Why would you do that? I need time. Let me, I like the slow burn. Let me just relax and get to know them first. Now, it's different if they, in my opinion, it's different if if the characters have known each other and you just missed that part. Like if they were childhood friends or something, they're just gradually starting to go closer. Because then they're already to a point where they're comfortable. But when it's strangers to lovers, more often than not, I think it rushes it just a little too much. For my personal taste, anyway. He gives me an awkward, appreciative smile. Like, it really just depends on the person, I guess. Some people like their romance fast and heavy, right from the get-go. A brief silence descends on us, and he takes that as his cue to make his exit. I'll see you in the morning. He turns to the see, this is another error where it reads like dialogue, but it's actually supposed to be narration. He turns to the door, his coat flowing behind him as he leaves the room. I wonder if he wears it for the cold, or if it's just part of his identity as the winter, or spirit, whatever. I guess I can ask him more about their roles tomorrow. The door closes and I'm alone again. Maybe I should have asked them what time it is right now, same time as Earth, or does time operate differently in this place? There doesn't seem to be a clock in this room at all. Clock. I think back to that deafeningly loud grandfather clock in the Seasons Inc. lobby, and the way it chimed was just as I was transported here. Was it related at all? I want to give this Briar guy a piece of my mind, but it was my fault for not reading the contract. Who would expect to be tricked like that anyway? He got me good. I amble around the spacious office trying to get some hints about what kind of person he might be. From the way Yuto talks about him, he sounds irresponsible. But this office is surprisingly tidy and well kept. Books in place, flowers and plants well watered, and it smells fresh and airy, like spring. A waterfall installation quietly bubbles in one corner near the chase Yuto mentioned. It's a nice office. I catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror again. The uniform is cute, too. Oh, yeah, it is a cute uniform. He may be a troublemaker, but at least he has taste. Well, that was clear when he picked me for the job, wasn't it? Ha 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 ha. Damn, I'm making jokes to myself all alone. Embarrassing. Yeah. It feels rude to poke around the desks with drawers with no one around, so I busy myself pursuing the strange books on the shelves for the rest of the afternoon. They're written in a language I don't recognize, but there are pictures at least. I was worried it would be hard to fall asleep in some random unknown office, but at some point in my readings I managed to doze off on the chase, book in hand. It's not even evening. I guess the journey to this realm exhausted me more than I thought. Why is she narrating this while if she's asleep? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. She's narrating in her sleep. I wake up with a start the next morning, and it takes me a minute to recollect myself and put two and two together. Right, I'm not on Earth. I'm also not dead. My eyes fall on the tray of fruit and pitcher of juice sitting beside me. Condensation gathers on the side of the pitcher, and it's clear. It's so cold, so it must not have been sitting here long. Wait, the one named Sol was supposed to bring me food yesterday, and I totally fell asleep. I don't know what's more embarrassing, that I fell asleep that early or that he probably saw me sleeping like a slob on this chase. Ugh. I leave the room and immediately spot the door to Winter's office across the grand, spotless foyer. I make my way to the door and knock hesitantly, feeling strangely self-conscious about how useless I am with no way to tell the time. I probably slept in way past our appointed meeting time. Come in. Yeah, that's interesting. So their offices are like based off of of each of the seasons. It's interesting. Cool. Interesting concept. I enter and find Yuto standing at his desk, the surprise on his face dissipating as he realizes it's me. I wondered who that might be, knocking so politely. The others just come in whenever they please. I don't even know why I bother closing the door. He seems to be in a better mood than yesterday. Sorry if I'm late. I think I may have slept in too long. My phone's clock isn't really behaving properly. I take the device out of my skirt pocket, tapping the screen. It's been stuck at the same time since I arrived here. Not that it matters, since without a charger, the battery will be dead soon anyway. And I don't think these ethereal beings or whatever would have a charging cable just lying around. Your Earth technology won't function here, I'm afraid. Time and space operate differently in the elemental realm. In fact, your contract says you're here for 5 days, but you'll find that time will move much more quickly here than you expect. We don't experience the day-night cycle here. Oh no. So sleeping in was even more of an inconvenience, wasn't it? No, of course not. You needed to rest. Traveling between realms is draining for humans. And personally, I would have suggested you sleep in later. You have no obligation to do these menial tasks for us, after all. Don't worry too much about being an employee. You're a guest. Still, I want to help, so if it's not too much trouble, let me know what I can do for you. His eyebrow rises as he slips into his thoughts for a moment. I return the questioning look, and he smiles. I was just wondering where Briar found someone so reliable, since he was anything but reliable. Anyway, I appreciate your enthusiasm. Let me start by answering any of your questions about us. I'm sure you have many. Yeah, I was wondering if we were going to get to ask some questions, because there's definitely some things that I would have liked to ask before I agreed to helping these guys. You know, but better late than never, I guess. Yeah, like, what kind of work will I be doing? That's something you want to ask before you agree to do it, right? Usually that's how it works. What do you do as the winter spirit? To put it simply, I control the arrival of winter and make sure that the weather and climate are stable while it's winter. That includes everything from temperature, precipitation, minimizing disruption to cycles of animal migration and hibernation. I'm delving too deeply into this. I apologize. I don't want to bore you. No, that's really interesting. I guess I don't really understand what makes this make sense with what I've been taught about the world. We learned about the weather cycle and animals having circadian rhythms and such. Did we learn that? I guess we learned that. Some people learned that. I might have not learned that. There's a playful smile on his face as he's talking to a naive child just learning about the world. Well, that's basically what I am to these spirits, huh? There are many things humans attribute to science because it gives them a framework they can wrap their heads around. It's okay if our rules and our magic are too outlandish to make sense to you. Well, show me some magic then. I raise a doubtful eyebrow at him. He waves a hand and a shower of snow falls from the ceiling as a chillingly cold gust of wind sweeps the office, shocking me to the bone. It ends just after a few seconds, and I stand there dumbly, like I've just seen a ghost, my eyes open wide at the convincing demonstration. Satisfactory? Yeah, okay. What kind of work will I be doing? Mainly organizing some material from the inventory warehouse and setting aside the ones Briar needs when he returns. Some of our materials are mixed up at the moment, so you would be sorting those out as well. It's not a lot of work. If you have magic, shouldn't it be easy for you to do these tasks that Briar left behind? The way our systems are set up now, it makes it inconvenient to use magic for these tasks. They're small, but require manual labor. Believe it or not, just earth jobs that have redundant and menial tasks. Well, at least it gives me something to do while I'm here. He usually does, but he's also doing his own preparations for the change of season, and it's unfair to lean on him to help all the time. The time in between cycles is a necessary period for us to regenerate our magic and rest. I see, that makes sense. If Briar is so irresponsible, can't you complain to, your boss to have him do his job properly? Yuto laughs. It's not that simple. And to be fair, he does his job competently when he's around. The problem is his tendency to appear late or to disappear randomly. There's not much we can do about that. Besides, we're chosen for these prestigious positions, and I'd sooner resign than question the judgment of those charges. Of those in charge. Fair, I guess. Yuto does seem the upstanding type. No more questions. He looks surprised at that. Strange. I expected you to have many more things to ask. Oh yeah, I have tons of questions about this world, but we'd be here all week talking about them. I do, but I don't want to take up all your time with questions, and I'm kind of eager to get to work. Yeah, see, things like this, like, it's just redundant, right? Because, I mean, it's pretty much saying the same thing, just narrating it and then doing it with dialogue, so you don't really need to be so over-narrative. You know, just mention it once, and the player will understand what you're trying to say. Trust in your player to understand the message. You don't need to tell them more than once. That's what I'm trying to get at, but I like your enthusiasm. His smile is so soft and sincere. I'm drawn into it for a moment. He really is beautiful. Handsome applies too, but it's simpler just to say he's pretty. See, all this is all saying the same thing. We get it. He's good looking. Okay, he's a good looking guy. I can tell that just by looking at him. Yeah, he's very nice. You don't really need to keep pointing it out to the player. We can get the message. Our eyes are locked for a moment too long, and he pulls his gaze away self-consciously. Stop it, Gales. You can't just be ogling this man so shamelessly. Oh my gosh, we're such a creeper. He's not even human. I'm sure he's not interested in me. Can humans and spirits even be together? Now that's a question I'm curious to have answered. They're already thinking of it. Oh my gosh. Too fast. If you'd like to get started, I can show you to the storage room. He interrupts my straying thoughts, and I scramble to remember what we were talking about. Of course. Embarrassing. I'm a professional. I have to act like one. Yuto stands from his desk, and I follow him out of his office and down a long hallway towards a large door. He opens it to reveal rows upon rows of shelves in a vast room that feels like it stretches on forever into the distance. These canisters contain seasonal essences that we draw on for producing specific spells. We usually have staff here to manage the inventory, but we've been short-handed recently, so sometimes we need to do this ourselves. Currently, the spring essences need to be organized. If you could do that, would it be a big help? It would be a big help. I gingerly pick up one of the canisters and carefully examine it. It's labeled with an unfamiliar language, but there's a small symbol of a clover on it as well. All the canisters have different symbols on them. Rain, clover, flowers, a rainbow, a fish. So I organize them by symbol. Exactly. Don't worry about deciphering the text. There are quite a few boxes here, so once you're done with these, you can call it a day, and we'll pick up again tomorrow. I know I'm nitpicking on it a lot, but I really do like this. It is very interesting. Oh. Okay. That was okay. It was a little easy and, like match the shapes that, not trying to be mean, but just being honest. Kind of like something like a toddler would do. I don't mind having mini games and stuff in games, but don't make them too easy, because that just makes me feel like, like I'm playing a kid's game. And pretty sure this isn't a kid's game if it's an otame, at least. Anyway. This isn't so bad, and I've already made a lot of progress. I hear the door open behind me and see Yuto enter with a tray of food and drinks. I don't know how often humans need to eat, but I brought you something anyway. That's nice of you. I move a nearby table over for him to set the tray on. And I know, once again, I know I'm nitpicking a lot, but I am really enjoying this. It's very interesting. I like the concept, and I like the designs and the artwork and all that. It's just the writing, I think it tends to over-explain, and it's moving a little fast for the romance. I'd prefer a more gradual transition. Wait until we get to know them as a person before we start being flirty and ogling them, and otherwise it just comes off as creeperish to me, like somebody being shallow, and it's just not my jam. But we'll keep playing. I almost always have something to say about the romance in these games because they tend to always move too fast to my liking when it's strangers to lovers, but it is what it is. Of course, it's the least we can offer you, and please don't hesitate to let me know if it isn't to your liking. Do you usually have guests? Almost never. Why? I was just thinking about what a perfect host you are. He opens his mouth to reply, but seems at a loss for words, his gaze tearing away from mine as he turns to the shelves, avoiding the conversation. I pour a glass of the punch and watch him analyze my work so far. It ain't much, but it's honest work, or whatever the saying was. You did this already? I mean, I was literally just matching shapes together. He looks at the empty box's presents. It's not exactly rocket science. He looks up at the boxes propped up neatly against the wall. There are a few full boxes left to go through. When I applied for this job, I was expecting it to be an office, sending emails, fixing printer jams, not putting away tiny mysterious jars of sun shower essence or whatever. But it's not a hard task. I can't complain. At least I'm getting paid for this. I look up to see Yuto staring at me and realize I haven't answered the question. It's surprisingly relaxing once you get into the groove of it. It's a relief to hear it's not boring you to death. I don't have the heart to tell him it's not that exciting. Truthfully, I would love his company, but the whole reason I'm here to take some of his workload off so he can do whatever he's doing. I can't ask him to help. I'm fine. I'll leave it to you then. When you wrap up here, you'll be done for the day. Don't hesitate to let me know if you need anything. He smiles, and I feel a pang of regret for the missed opportunity. Too late now. I thank him, and he leaves. Not much else to do than finish up this food and put the rest of the essences away. I do just that and kill some time poking around the inventory room. There's not much to see. Lots of books, boxes, unknown trinkets I don't want to touch, and those little essence jars for each season. It'd be creepy in here if it weren't so well lit, but nonetheless, I don't want to stick around in here too long. I'll at least let Yuto know that I'm done for the day. Carrying the tray and empty glassware, I close the storage room door and make my way to his office, knocking on the propped open door. No need to knock, Gales. You're welcome to come in unannounced. Didn't he complain about his other employees doing that earlier, and now he wants us to do that? That kind of makes me happy, even if it sounds dumb. I know I'm the only one here for a day, but he seems to be warming up to me compared to when we first met. I brought these back, and I'm done organizing the essences. You can leave them there on the table there, and that's great. Thank you again for your help. It's nice to be able to rely on someone. Yeah, kind of both. I wonder if the hearts, if it's supposed to represent romance or whatever, or if that's the friendly option. I guess we'll do the hearts one. Even they're just small tasks, I'm only here for a few days. I'm happy to make things a little easier for you. I appreciate that. You have a big heart. People often tell me mine is cold. He sounds like he's joking, and sure, he's smiling, but I don't think that's true at all. They must not know you. I mean, of course, we only just met, so I can't pretend to know everything about you. I mean, you've been so kind to me. I know what you mean. For what it's worth, I appreciate that you care about my well-being, even though we've just met. God, now this has turned into some kind of compliment-giving competition. But why am I so stupidly happy about his words, his smile? Did I always fall for people this easily? I'll go now. I'm sure you're busy. I hastily excuse myself so I can go on dwelling on the terrifying flutter that pops in my chest when he smiles at me. At least it's being very self-aware. Like, the main character is realizing that they're falling fast. This is going too fast. If it's a crush, I should just ignore it, right? Is there a point in romantically pursuing, for all I know, immortal, ethereal spirit man who may not be interested in humans, let alone me? And how embarrassing would that be if he noticed my feelings for him before the weekends and we have to awkwardly work together until I can be sent back? Ugh, I'd rather die. But at the same time, life is too short not to enjoy crushes. When I arrive at Yuto's office the next, day, I have no concept of time. I find him looking over a holographic chart with Rai. He waves me inside anyway, so I enter. While I wait for them to finish speaking, I might as well take the opportunity to examine Yuto's office in detail. I haven't had the chance until now, kept busy by the small tasks I've been doing. Not that there's much to see, that is, the minimalist open space is pristine and lightly furnished. He has one item in common with Briar, some grandiose bookcases, and that's where the similarities end. Instead of the plants and greenery, there's a lot of elegant statement decor, and in place of the bubbling waterfall, a quietly crackling fireplace. My eyes are drawn to one focal point in particular, though. I gaze up at the wall adorned with framed, pointed portraits, neatly lined up, immaculately maintained. Each portrait features a different person, most of them stoic-faced and serious, some gentle and reserved. They have one thing in common, their winter-themed regalia. If I had to guess, they're probably Yuto's predecessors, the previous spirits in charge of winter. Interesting. Pretty. A familiar face stares at me from a portrait at the end of the row, all but confirming my suspicions. He looks frozen in time, a stoic, serious expression on his face. It's a beautiful painting. Handsome, isn't he? A voice speaks up from nearby, and I turn to see Rai at my side. I hear a skeptical grunt in reply from Yuto. You only say that because you painted it. You're right. I should say handsome, isn't it? I look back at the painting, admiring the skill in each brushstroke, the choice of colors, the delicate expression. Rai painted this? Yeah, sure. I desperately wanted to see Yuto's expression, but it would be too direct to look at him after saying something so embarrassing. Rai has no qualms about doing that, though, and his wide grin upon seeing Yuto's face tells me my compliment hit the mark. He leans over and whispers to me, I can see you'll be a great source of entertainment for me this week, Gales. I don't think Yuto heard from where he's seated at his desk, but he speaks up. I'm sure it's fun and games for you, Soul, but you're trying to do work here. Oh, games for you and Soul. But we're trying to do work here. I was going to say, wasn't this Briar? Not Soul. I fully understand. If you want me to get me out of your hair and leave you two alone, of course. Rice latches onto Yuto's words, winking at me as he makes a show of heading to the door. What? I didn't say. But Rai is already gone. Left alone, I sense a weight lifted off Yuto's shoulders. Maybe it's the reassurance that I do want to be in his company. For today, can you find me these books from Briar's library? He hands me a data pad with a list of titles on it written in that mysterious language. It might take a while since I can't read these, but I'll figure it out. Even if you could read them, his shelf organization has no rhyme or reason whatsoever. It wouldn't be faster for me to find them, unfortunately. No rush. Yeesh, so Briar isn't as organized as I originally thought. I return to his office to find the books in question. The task is far more time-consuming than the other one. Oh, it's like a matching game. Okay. Cool. It was okay. Still a little on the easy side. Eventually I find them all with books cradled in my arms. I head back to Yuto's office. But I guess I'd rather have them be too easy than too difficult and not be able to skip them. Because these are unskippable, so I'm okay with them being too easy. Much rather it be too easy than too difficult. I should point that out too. I hand the books over to him as he takes them from me. Our hands briefly touch. The first thing that strikes me is how cold his skin is. Sorry. Oh, no worries. You look like you have something you want to ask. It's kind of rude. My cold hands? I can nod, only feeling the embarrassment swell up in me. It's not because I'm the winter spirit, if that's what you're wondering. Well, it might be. I just tend to have cold hands. He explains all this with surprisingly little awkwardness or self-consciousness. I promise the rest of me is warm. Not that you wanted to know that. Well, his cheeks are definitely warm, judging by that flush. Aw, he is refreshingly wholesome. I unfortunately don't have the easy social skills of Sol or Rai. He gives me an apologetic smile. You're fine just the way you are. His smile softens appreciatively and his eyes flicker away. Tell me about yourself, Gales. Not much to tell. You already know I was looking for a job, not married, don't have kids. I like skating, knitting, and reading. That's about it. You sell yourself short. I'm sure there's more to you. I shrug. In the past few days, I've come to enjoy being around Yuto, and it feels like the beginning of a great friendship. If only we had more time to hang out, but we don't, so it feels futile to open up too much. I'm conflicted. Sensing my hesitance to say more right now, Yuto looks at the stack of books again and remembers something. Sorry to ask you, but would you also be able to grab one of the Tempest essences from the storage room? It has a symbol that looks like a storm. It should be in the winter section. Yeah, of course. I jump on the opportunity to retreat from the previous conversation for a moment and head out of the office to the storage room. Winter section. Here it is. The items are packed tightly together. I can kind of see the one Yuto was referring to, but the shelf it's on is just a little out of my reach. I mean, if I can get it if I stretch, probably. I look around for a step stool or ladder of some kind, but don't find anything, and the boxes I was unpacking are definitely not sturdy enough to stand on. I could go back and ask for help, but I've already been looking for it for a long time, and at least I can try to get it. I stretch my arm toward the jar, pushing myself up on the tips of my toes as I steady myself against one of the lower shelves with a free hand. The jar is a little further back than I anticipated, and I try to knock it closer against another container. Big mistake that was. I watch as feels like slow motion as the jars around the one I tipped wobble and start to fall towards my face. My instinct is to step back, but maybe I can catch some of them so the damage is minimized? I don't know. What's in these? So maybe they're dangerous or valuable. Yuto's gonna be so disappointed in me. Funny that I am about potentially to get hit with falling. Is like falling in slow motion? How are they having time to narrate all this? Funny that I'm about to potentially get hit with falling glass, and here I am thinking about him. A strong hand grips my left shoulder, pulling me back abruptly as an arm reaches up and blocks the falling jars from hitting me. They're redirected harmlessly to the floor at our feet, shattering into pieces. The sound of broken glass feels so far away, drowned out by my racing heart as I look up into the concerned blue eyes, a face shrouded in desperate frustration. What are you doing? Don't push yourself to the point of getting hurt. I hadn't realized just how much taller Yuto is than me, at least 1.5 feet, and his broad shoulders make me feel even smaller right now. Are you okay? He makes the material around our feet vanish in a hurried wave of his hand, then gingerly lifts my chin to examine my face for injuries. I wasn't hurt. Thanks for shielding me. When you took too long to come back, I was afraid this might have happened. I would have been beside myself if you were injured. He's so close I can smell the scent of pine and pleasant cologne on him. In the process of moving me back to block the falling jars, his left hand had shifted from my shoulder to the small of my back, and I'm keenly aware of it there. I appreciate you protecting me. I should have been more careful. I gently move my face away from his hand. He steps back hurriedly, increasing the distance between us. I'm sorry. I was so worried I didn't think twice about invading your personal space. You sure you're okay? I do like Yuto so far. He seems generally kind and respectful, unlike some of the other guys. So, yeah, I think so far, at least. I mean, obviously I'm biased because I'm on his route, obviously, but I think I chose good. For my personal taste, anyway. I think I chose good. I nod, giving myself a 1-over just to be sure. Looks fine to me. Just then, the door slams open behind us and Sol bounds in. Also, like, the serious guys tends to be, like, seriously romantic when they do, enter the romance phase. And it's just, it's so awesome. I love serious guys. More than I love the flirty, I'm gonna hit on you even though we just met guys. That's just, I don't usually go for that type. That's not my type. Hey, Sol, I was looking for you. He freezes in place, his eyes darting between us, eyebrows raised in surprise. Because usually when they flirt with you right off the bat, it's, well, one, they're not interested in getting to know you as a person. They just think you're hot, which is shallow as fuck. And then number two, the other problem I have with it is that usually you would expect that they do that with anybody who is attractive, not just you. It doesn't make you feel special. If they're more the serious and the closed off type and they don't get along with people well generally, but they get along well with you, I don't know. It just makes you feel special. That's usually why I tend to go for the more reserved, serious types than the flirty, outgoing types. Now, I have played games where they get flirty, but they're only flirting with you and they're not interested in anybody else, and that is what I like to see in a flirty type. But I don't know. I wasn't getting that vibe from this guy. I was getting more from Soul anyway. I wasn't getting that vibe. I was getting more of a vibe. He's just interested in you because you're new and exciting. And it doesn't feel personal that way. It could have been anybody new and exciting and he'd be interested. That's why I don't really care too much for the flirty types. Anyway, once again, it's not a bad thing. I'm just stating my personal opinions on the matter. Why I tend to go for more the serious types than the flirty types. He freezes in place, his eyes darting between us, eyebrows raised in surprise. It's like watching the gears turning his brain. What are you guys up to in here, plotting something without me? What? What are you going on about? I asked Gales to grab me the Tempest Essence, and the jars fell. I was helping her clean them up. That didn't seem to convince Soul in the slightest. Uh-huh, you sure it wasn't a secret rendezvous? Yuto sighs, rubbing his temple as if to ward off an incoming headache. Don't bother Gales with those insinuations. There's nothing between us. Ouch. Well, in that case, you got a minute? I wanted to double check some details about the equinox with you. Yes, I'll be there in a moment. Soul leaves and Yuto turns to me. Don't worry about the Tempest Essence or the ones that broke. I'm just glad you weren't hurt. I'll probably be busy with Soul for a while, so feel free to take a break. I can only nod, and he leads without another word. He said not to worry about the broken essences, but I do feel bad for breaking them. I'd been going on this whole time about Yuto needing a break from work, not pushing himself to do everything himself. And here I am refusing to ask for help and causing trouble for no reason. I should do better. I didn't get the chance to see Yuto at all after he disappeared with Soul yesterday, and ended up whiling away the time in Briar's office for the rest of the day. I still feel bad about breaking the essence jars, but it didn't seem like it bothered Yuto, so maybe I should put it behind me and just do my best with the remaining time. I half expect to see either Briar or Soul in Yuto's office when I arrive, but it's just him, sitting at the front desk, eyes glued to a screen of scrolling text in front of him. Come in, Gales. He turns the screen off and props his elbows on his desk, chin resting on his hands. Feels oddly like I'm being called in here to be fired. Maybe those essence jars were a problem after all. I can't thank you enough for your help over the last few days. I know it wasn't very interesting work, but I really didn't have the time or capacity to get it done myself. I take a seat in front of his desk, waiting for him to continue. I'm free for the rest of your time here, though, and there isn't anything left to assign you, so... Wait, that was all? He nods, and I don't sense any lie in his expression. I totally get it. I really dropped the ball yesterday with the jars. I'm sorry about that. What are you... No. You think I'm not giving you anything else to do because of that? I mean, that's what it sounds like. He sighs deeply, one corner of his lips rising in resignation. I already told you not to worry about that. I've never met anyone as stubborn as I am. No, I promise I'm not cutting your work short. If I had anything else, I would be more than happy to entrust you with it. You're hardworking, efficient, and detail-oriented. Oh, well, I can't leave for 2 more days, though, and I wasn't really prepared to leave this early, either. It's kind of disappointing. I know you can't leave here for 2 more days. I don't know what that idiot was thinking, stipulating that in the contract instead of letting you leave when the work was done. He knew there couldn't be that much of a magic user could do. A brief silence passes between us, and I watch the conflict in his eyes as he musters the strength to say something. It's selfish of me, but I'm a little grateful for the extra free time. I'm like a terrible source of entertainment, but I wouldn't object to keeping you company until you leave. Of course you don't have to. Even though he quickly backtracks, I can see the hopeful glint in his eyes. I definitely don't have anything else to do, and we were getting along pretty well this week. I don't see any reason to object. I would love that. Relief floods his face, only to be followed by a concerned frown. That being said, there's not much to do around here. Do you play any winter sports? No, I've never dabbled in any of those human activities. What? But then, what do you do during winter other than your job? He simply shrugs. I read, spend my time indoors. I don't dislike the cold, it's just that winter is a time for most animals to slow down. It's nature that benefits from the weather reset. I find it strange that some humans partake in outdoor activities for leisure. But there's a lot of fun things to do outside in the winter. Yeah, it's cold, but it's beautiful, and there are festivals, and that's it. He raises a confused eyebrow at me. In the past, I've been to a great winter festival called Carnival. It should be happening again right about now. You're able to go to Earth, right? You want me to go visit this winter festival? He looks skeptical. We can go together. I mean, if Briar's contract even allows me to visit Earth for a trip like that. And if you don't mind, that is. He thinks about it for a long moment. I prepare to be disappointed by his answer. I'm willing to give it a try since you recommend it. Yes, I actually look forward to showing him everything he's been missing out on. Well, so long as we can actually go. I'm not sure if going back to Earth counts as breaking the terms. It should be daytime there if we leave now. Close your eyes, think of the location, and I'll send us there. I do as he says, picturing the canoe races, the tobogganing hill, Chateau Frontiac, and looking over the winter festivities. I hear the sound of tinkling, feel a current of air, and this time it doesn't stop abruptly. A bright light burns behind my eyelids, and all at once I feel a cold air hit me in the face. But my clothes, they're not the light, airy uniform, the elemental realm. I opened my eyes and looked down to see the outfit I'd worn to my interview, thankfully including the coat I'd brought. Unfortunately, I drove to the interview, so it's not my warmest winter coat. I'll survive, though. Yuto isn't in front of me, and I panic a little until I feel a hand on my shoulder, gently maneuvering me out of the way of a passing crowd. It works, surprisingly. What a strange loophole. I guess if one of us is with you, it counts as work. He mutters something under his breath about not understanding Briar's idiocy, but I'm too ecstatic about us being here to pay much attention. I'm just happy it worked, and judging by the light, it looks like we arrived in the late morning, so we'll have plenty of time to spend here. And a quick check of my pockets reveals my wallet is thankfully with me. We're all set. What do you want to do first? Yuto looks around pensively, and I watched his expressionless face as he mulls over his options. Whatever you like, but not that. He points to the canoe races on the icy river some distance away, and I laugh. We won't be doing that, I can assure you. Let's try some maple taffy and get some hot chocolate. He looks like he wants to protest, but his cheek checks himself. I know they don't need to eat, but he really needs to experience this. Lining up at the stand with excited families, I take my eyes off Yuto as he watches the unique display. The shop staff demonstrate pouring the hot syrup in the snow, letting it freeze, then carefully wrapping it around a popsicle stick. He goes from skeptical to fascinated so easily, it's amusing. We find seats at a nearby picnic table to eat our taffy and decide our next activity, and I watch Yuto over the rim of my hot chocolate cup. What an interesting way to produce food. I never imagined humans use snow like that. His eyes scan the crowds, moving from stall to stall. Oh, it's another error where they mistake the narration for dialogue. By the way, you paid for these, right? You don't need... Yuto, let me treat you. Don't be silly. The three of you have fed me for this entire week. It's the least I can do. He reluctantly agrees, sensing that I won't accept an argument about it. If you insist, what do you want to do next? We have to go tobogganing up on the hill. His eyes immediately rise. You don't mean those dangerous-looking sleds. That one, they did the reverse. They mistake dialogue for narration. I grin at him, and he responds with a miserable, jaw-clenching frown. Man, I didn't think he'd be so afraid of things like that. It's adorable. Please, it'll be fun, I promise. I pout at him for the extra persuasion factor, and he continues to frown, but his expression softens. I don't wait for him to change his mind, immediately leaping up from the picnic table as soon as he grumbles his agreement. We throw our garbage out nearby and head to the toboggan run at the top of the hill, waiting in the long line of tourists, loudly chatting. The attendee asks us whether we'd like to go together or separately, and Yuto looks to me to answer. Separate, it'll be exciting that way. I'm sorry, Yuto, you have to get the full thrilling experience of hurtling down a hill on a sled with nothing and no one to hold on to but dear life. We pull our individual sleds up the hill and set up at the top, following the directions from the ride attendant. Legs straight, feet in the sled, grip the thin rope for security. Or if this counts as security at all, more of a psychological comfort than a safety feature. I look over at Yuto and note his clenched jaw. He's definitely afraid, but trying really hard not to show it. It's adorable. Gills, are you sure about this? I hear the attendant ask if everyone is ready. It'll be fun, just hold on tight. I don't get a chance to hear his response because the lever is pulled to release the toboggans and we immediately begin to slide forward. The other sledders scream and shout in joy as they careen alongside us, and after a moment I look over to see even Yuto is smiling wide, enjoying the ride. The rest of the trip down the hill is an exhilarating, speedy journey around turns and past watching crowds. Cold wind bites at my face and my eyes feel like they might start watering, but it's worth it. When we get to the bottom and untangle ourselves from the toboggans, I'm ready to apologize for subjecting him to that, but he begins talking first. Gills, that was incredible. Insanely stupid, but strangely exciting. Hey, I'm willing to go again if you liked it that much. I think I'll pass. Once is plenty. Oh, well. I didn't want to make the long trek up the hill again anyway. You're not cold, are you? I noticed the other humans are wearing heavier clothing than you are. We begin to walk back towards the main festival, and I look around at the other people dressed in thick winter coats, toques, scarves, and mitts. Yeah, comparatively in my light coat it's a little cold. The warm drink and being on the move did help, but eventually it'll be too cold. Maybe I should buy some mitts and a hat. I'm okay for now. I still have a jacket, and we've been pretty active, so I'm keeping warm. Are you sure? I'll give you my coat. He raises a concerned eyebrow at me, and I know he doesn't fully believe me. It would be weird to wear 2 coats and walk alongside him with none. He claims the cold doesn't bother him anyway, but I imagine how strangers will look at us. It's not like they know he's the winter spirit. I promise I'll tell you if I get too cold. Thank you for worrying about me, though. It's really a shame that Yuto talked himself into thinking he's not as interesting or sociable as the others. He's considerate and even willing to put aside his skepticism and fears to try these activities with me. I wish he could see himself through my eyes. Let's go skating next. Are you trying to humiliate me today or something? Did I do something wrong? So he's not good at skating either. This should be fun. Have I led you astray so far? He opens his mouth to respond and I cut him off. Don't answer that. Just trust me. We find the rink and rent 2 pairs of skates sitting at a bench nearby to lace them up. The rink is already pretty busy with kids, elderly folks, youth knocking a hockey puck around, and a couple skating arm in arm. It's been a while since I last skated. I'll say I'm pretty good at it. I'm sure if I went skating, I'd still would be able to do it all right. I'd say I'm a strong skater, though, and I confidently lead Yuto onto the ice despite his obvious anxiety about falling. There's another error. It's not dialogue, it's narration. Skating has always been one of my favorite winter activities, and I really want Yuto to experience how fun it is. By now the sky is starting to change colors, and it seems the sun will be setting soon. The fairy lights at the rink light up, and the DJ changes his list from party tracks to slower jams. This might be fun if I wasn't wobbling like a newborn deer. It's fun for me watching you flail around. He rolls his eyes, but I see the hint of a smile tug at his lips. So you did bring me here to embarrass me. I'm about to reply when I notice a teenager skating furiously in our direction from behind, distractedly chasing a puck. Before I can warn Yuto, the teenager accidentally knocks him in the shoulder and the momentum pushes him into me. He treads ice for a few uncertain moments, his eyes wide as he attempts to regain his grip. Although I'm shorter than him, I try valiantly to steady him without my own weight. Eventually, he regains his balance and I can let go of him. Relief washes over his face. You know, this might come back to kick me if you fall and drag me down with you. Excellent idea. I'll keep that in mind when I fall. In a move I can only describe as jaw-dropping, he casually skates a few meters away, performs an expert turn, and returns. To add a further flair to his display, he skates backwards as he spins around me and comes to abrupt stop, snow flying off his skate blades. I thought you didn't know how to skate. He grins nonchalantly, slipping his hands into his pant pockets to show off. It's like he's not standing on ice at all. I didn't. But what kind of ethereal beings would we be if we couldn't absorb information at lightning speed? I can only sigh, of course. We'll skate a little longer, but I'd rather go somewhere with less commotion. There should be a fireworks show starting once the sun sets if you want to find some place to watch that. That sounds nice. I can't remember the last time I got to experience one of those. We skate until the sun sets, avoiding the rowdy hockey teens and any more falls. The first fireworks begin to light up the sky, and we make our way off the rink, returning our skates before we head off to find a decent viewing area for the show. Oh, that's cool. Little fireworks in the background, nice. The lamps in the park cast a warm golden hue on the fresh snow, and we find an empty park bench on the overlook. There's no one else around, though a few strangers walk their dogs along the path a distance away. Well, I should thank you. Today I learned the appeal of experiencing your strange human customs, as ridiculous as they might seem at first. I smile at him, and the sound of fireworks resounds in the distance, their faint, bright colors lighting up his face, the elaborate shapes of red and green flowers reflecting in his blue eyes. Gales, I know it's been such a short time, just a drop in the bucket in the time I've lived, and probably no time at all for you either. But I really valued your time here. It may sound premature, but I've come to consider you a friend. Maybe it's the relief of being appreciated for who I am, even if I don't always value myself. Whatever it is, I found myself waiting for you to pop into my office, growing comfortable in your presence. I hope I'm not presumptuous, and assuming you felt the same. You're not presumptuous. I wouldn't be here if I didn't feel the same. I had a really great time today. I never thought I'd find a friend in the spirit of winter himself. He smiles and stares into the distance at the crumbling fireworks for a moment. If you ever feel like coming to visit us, I'm more than happy to make that happen. I'm sure Rye, Soul, and Briar will easily become your friends as well. Wait, that's possible? Here I was feeling disappointed about the approaching end of the week. It fills me with relief and warmth to be invited back. Don't feel pressured to. I know we're a handful. I'd love to come hang out with you guys sometime, and there's a lot of things to do on Earth if you want to experience them with me. Just try to pick some tame activities, too. I can't make any promises. Sure. Something tells me he doesn't believe me. I think it's about time we headed back. I'm sure Sol and Rai have noticed we've been gone for a while now. I wouldn't be surprised if the whole day has passed there. Oh, right. We have been gone all day. Ready to go back? I nod, and he raises his hand, summoning the teleportation magic to whisk us back to the elemental realm. I thought I'd see something interesting in the process if I kept my eyes open, but everything fades to black after the sparkles. Disappointing, but oh well. The black fades away, and we're standing in Yuto's office, where Rai and Sol are already seated, chit-chatting amongst themselves. Upon our arrival, their expressions change to what I can only describe as obnoxious. Is Briar back? Yuto ignores them, returning to his composed, serious self without missing a beat. He sent a message saying he'll be back soon, so we can send Gales back. Are you ready to go? Am I ready? Yes. Am I willing? Not yet. As much as I've enjoyed Rai and Sol's company, I'll miss Yuto's the most. The reassurance that I can visit them anytime is nice, though. I plaster a confident smile on my face so I don't worry them. I'm ready. I've enjoyed my time with you three. It's been a pleasure to spend the week with you. It was nice to spend the week with you too, Gales, even if Yuto monopolized your time. Too bad you weren't staying longer. I wanted to hang out with you too. Stop whining. You'll get to see her again. With that, he moves off the desk he's been leaning against and comes closer to me, holding his hand out to reveal something in his palm. It's an elegant watch with a delicate snowflake etched into its face. The surface under the glass looks like it's almost glowing with a radiant blue light. Whenever you want to come back, just hold this in your hands and think of this place. You'll be transported here. Is that really okay? If these idiots have a problem with it, they can complain to me. In the background, I see Sol and Rai grinning in amusement. Wow, you must have gotten really close if Yuto's giving you free reign to come back whenever you want. That's great. We'll get to hang out. Yuto turns to them with a sigh, an unamused frown forming on his lips. Would you two make yourself useful and send her back to Earth? She's going to need rest when she's sent back. The two look at each other and Rai nods, stepping forward and smiling at me. Ready to go? I nod, unable to say much else. I didn't bring any possessions here, so there's nothing I have to go get. There's just the precious watch in my hand, and I put it on my wrist so I don't lose it in the journey. Rai begins to summon his magic, and I smile at Yuto, though the growing sparkles and streaks of orange and yellow that surround me. A second later, I'm back in the Seasons Inc. lobby, the weight of my winter coat in one hand, the folder of resumes in the other. The clock stands before me just as it was when I left. The first thing I do is check my wrist for the watch, and it's still there. What a relief. It's the only indication that I have any of this last week was real. The elevator dings behind me, and I remember when I am in a panic, frantically scanning the office lobby. There is still not a soul in sight. The elevator doors open, and my jaw practically drops when the stranger steps out. If his shock of green and pink hair didn't give it away, his grin certainly does. Gills, there you are. It's the spring guy. Briar? The one and only. He takes a dramatic bow, smiling smugly at me. I can't thank you enough for helping me out this week. It sounds like you were a perfect candidate, just like I expected. I can't say I'm surprised. I already deduced that the whole job application and interview were a farce to find someone to fill the spring role. So that was the whole job. There's no real assistant job, is there? You're right. I can help you find a job, though. Actually, I'm going to have to. Yuto will give me an earful otherwise. His eyes focus keenly on the watch on my wrist. Are you mad? How can I be? I had fun. I met Yuto, Sol, and Rai. I got to experience a fantastical world filled with all kinds of things I have so many questions about, and I get to go back. Not at all. Glad to hear you're a good sport about it. I really did pick the right person. Alright, don't go that far. The fine print was still a jerk move. You can head home now. I'm sure you'll be exhausted from your time in the elemental realm. I'll see you around. There are a lot of things I want to ask him, but they can wait for now. I am really tired. But it is the happiest tired I've been in a long, long time. Yay! So I feel like we got more of a friendship ending. I don't know if there is a romantic ending, but I'm assuming so. Like if I had chosen all the hearts, it probably would have been a romantic ending. But honestly, I'm okay with the friendship ending. I feel like the romance was going too fast, so that was my cue to back out of it. So I didn't feel like I was being a creeper. But no, it was good. It was good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Very cool. Alright, let me regain my thoughts and then I'll do a little critique. This was great. I really enjoyed it. As I said, I really like the artwork. Character designs were really nice. I like that you could definitely tell that, you know, this guy is winter, this is the spring guy. It was pretty obvious based on the design, so that's great. They did a good job with that. This GUI was really nice. I like the aesthetic of the main menu and all that. I think my favorite aspect of this is honestly just the setting itself. I find the idea really interesting that they run a corporation that are in control of the different seasons and making sure that everything goes smoothly. I think that's really cool. Really cool idea. Yuto was definitely my favorite character based on what I've seen anyway. The other two love interests, they felt a little similar to me. I'm not really tempted to go through their routes. I'm sure that they probably get more in depth, but I found myself just feeling kind of indifference toward them. I am a person that goes more for personality than looks, and I feel like their personalities felt just a little bit flat for my taste anyway. The main character I didn't really care too much about. I felt they were a little bit on the insecure side. They felt a little bit immature, maybe. They were constantly, like, worrying that they weren't doing their job right, that Yuto wouldn't like them, and it was just it felt kind of childish for an adult woman, for my personal taste anyway. I mean, I'm sure other people will think she's great and relatable to them, maybe, but to me, I like my heroines to have a little more confidence, a little more backbone. It seemed like she was too eager to help and to please others for my taste. Like, the fact that she would agree to this job without even understanding what the full implications of the job were. It just, like, she wanted to apply for an assistant position, but didn't even know what the assistant was an assistant to. I mean, it just seemed a little, just not my cup of tea. Let's just put it that way. I don't think it, but that's more subjective, honestly. Objectively speaking, most of my complaints were more nitpicky things. Like, there was definitely a lot of times where it was getting confused between narration versus dialogue, and then also the over explaining in the narration. I get the feeling whoever wrote this is more experienced with novel writing than visual novel writing. I could be wrong, this is just my theory, because they wrote more like they were writing a story that didn't have any visuals to accompany it. So they tended to over-explain things that were visible on the screen to us. And that makes it feel kind of redundant, kind of pointless. For example, explaining how serious Yuto was being, when we could see that his expression was definitely serious. You don't need to tell us that. It's obvious just looking at the sprite. Things like that. To me, it just feels a little redundant. You don't really need that in a visual novel writing. You don't need to focus so much on the physical aspects of things when it's already visible to us on the screen. It just tends to be over-explanatory that way. And it kind of slows down the pacing of the story too. Especially when you're having two characters engaged in dialogue, if you keep interrupting that with narration, it slows it down a lot. So my advice would be to cut back on some of that narration, just get rid of it completely. Let the characters interact with one another without being interrupted by narration. That's what we like to see in visual novels. We like to see the character interactions. That's more what we're here for. The narration is interesting, don't get me wrong, and it's a well-told story, very detailed and stuff. It's just a little too much. You don't need that much narration, especially when you have visuals to accompany it. You can cut back a little and let the characters just interact, and let us get to know the characters through their interactions, not by telling us what they are. Like, oh, he's so considerate and stuff like that. We can see that he's being considerate. You don't need to tell us that. Trust in your readers to understand what you're showing them. That's my advice anyway. But all that is easily fixed just by doing a little more editing, going through it a little more. Once again, making sure, switching all those errors where it was getting confused between dialogue and narration. It's just editing. Since this was for a jam, I'm assuming they probably just ran out of time and didn't edit it as much as they could have if they hadn't done it for a jam. But that's my theory anyway. But overall, I thought it was really well. The minigames I wasn't too much of a fan of anyway. They felt a little too easy for me, and when a minigame feels too easy, it's almost like, what's the point of this? It's just taking up space. It's just taking up time. But that's just me. That's just my personal take. If it were my game, I'd either get rid of them, honestly, or at least make them skippable for people who just aren't interested. But it was only 2 little games, and they were really short, and they didn't take that much time. And like I did say, I'd rather them be too easy than too difficult, especially since they're non-skippable. I'm okay with it overall. But yeah, I really enjoyed it though, and I would love to see more. I found it very interesting, very thought-provoking, very fascinating setting, and in characters, and yeah, I enjoyed it. But that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching, and have a great day. Bye!